How's it going, everybody?
Hey, John, how are you today?
Doing well, thanks.
Hey, John.
All right, we welcome on Associate Head Coach Jon Scheyer. If you have a question for Coach, please use the hand raise feature. And when you're not asking a question, please make sure to keep your line muted. Today we'll start with Ryan Horace. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, John. First, congrats on the new baby news.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And so about the team, rebounding, especially defensive rebounding, has seemed to be sort of an issue that's been up and down for this team. How do you combat that going into to ACC play?
Yeah, well, first of all, I thought you were going to congratulate me on dunking again. You never really see me dunk, so I thought that was. But anyway, that's all right. I was pretty proud of that. As much as the news and healthy child, getting the dunking camera felt pretty good. But as far as the defensive rebounding goes, I think it's a mindset, right? And it's something we've drilled a lot. We've spent many film sessions talking about it. But the reality is we've had other times in some of our games where we're more athletic or able to go up and get it. And, Virginia Tech's a good example. Mutts and Aluma, they go to the boards. So if shot goes up, you don't put a body on them. They're going to make you pay with it, not only for putbacks, but for kick out threes. So our guys, they've taken responsibility. They know something we need to improve on. For us as a coaching staff, we need to do a better job of coaching it, teaching it. But that's something hopefully tomorrow night we show some improvement in that area.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next we go to Steve Wiseman.
Hey, John. Last few days have been a little off, kind of like last year again with COVID stuff and everything. What's the coaching situation been like with Nolan in quarantine and Sewell not around? I know Emil's doing more. Can you just kind of talk us through what it's been like working with the team under these circumstances?
Yeah, I miss those guys. We miss them. It's pretty unusual, set of circumstances, obviously. But, we've always picked each other up. I think we're fortunate, Coach and I being together for so long, knowing what he needs. I follow his lead and, with the scouting. And then I think with Emil, it's given him a great opportunity to get some experience. And that's something I'm not sure going into this year we thought he'd be able to get. But with Sewell needing that surgery first and foremost, really threw him into the fires in terms of player development and skill work. And it's been even more. I mean, today after practice, we're breaking down for shots afterwards, and he's leading a basket. So I think those experiences for him, the guys love working with him. They reacted really well to that. And I think for the long term and his growth, we'll look back at this time as being a huge area where he took a big jump.
Brendan Marks.
Hey, John, congratulations first and foremost.
I'm dunking or the kid?
I think Marcel would want me to be congratulating you on the baby.
All right.
Just when you look at Virginia Tech, you mentioned Aluma, you mentioned Mutts, but just this team year over year and what Mike Young's been able to do up there. What are some of the things that you guys are focused on just going into the start of ACC play with that one?
Yeah, well, he's a big time coach. They have a great coaching staff, and Virginia Tech, they always know who they are and they play to their strengths, right? And they're a team that really makes you work on the defensive end. They do a great job of passing, screening, cutting, and so we always talk about having discipline on the ball. But in this game, you need to have great discipline off the ball as well, because they make you pay. And they put 5 guys on the floor that can shoot it, and they have a player in Aluma where they can throw the ball to, and he can really create offense for them. So it's a great challenge. I have a lot of respect for Coach Young and what he's done. And, I think our guys are anxious to play our first ACC game.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Aaron Beard.
Hey, John, I'll go ahead and congratulate you on the dunk.
Thank you. I've been waiting for it. I've been trying to thank you.
I did want to ask sort of a follow-up to what Steve was talking about, where we've kind of gone back a little bit all of a sudden in the last 10 days to feeling a little bit like last year, where games are now getting changed on the fly, and I guess protocols may be having to change internally. I guess I'm curious, are you guys starting to do things differently internally just on a day-to-day basis now, just because of the way things have changed so much in the last 2 weeks with COVID?
Well, I think it's made us all more aware for our interactions and just being as safe as possible while still living our life, and I think for our guys, uh, you know, masking up, right? Just understanding, washing our hands, those little things we all want to get back to normal so badly. So you let some of those things slide, where this has been a good wake up call. I mean, forget about for us, but I think for our country, for everybody, that we need to still be safe and handle things the right way. So look, our guys want to play games. They'll do whatever it takes in order for that to happen. And we'll continue to stay diligent in that.
Thanks, John.
Thanks.
Mike Barber.
Hey, John, if I could recommend, maybe if you dunk the baby, we'll get everybody on board.
I would say next time, but I'm not so sure. So yeah, I appreciate it.
You mentioned Mutz and Aluma. This is not a team, though, that's very deep in the front court. Is there an extra emphasis in maybe getting those two guys in foul trouble, going at them early because of what the rest of this Tech roster looks like?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, look, that'd be great. Obviously, they're two great players. But for us, we've had a huge advantage all year with playing without fouling and also driving the ball strong where we get to the free throw line ourselves. So that's something that we go into every game wanting to win that battle. This game's no different, and there's no question. A foul on Mutz or a foul on Aluma is a big play because of how valuable they are to the team. So, want to make sure we don't bail them out. Just like they're going to make us work on defense, we want to make them work on defense as well.
Thank you.
David Thompson.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Theo John and kind of going back to when you guys were recruiting him and what you saw that really felt like, he was going to be that missing piece that he's kind of turned into off the bench.
Well, we all felt like we knew Theo so well, Sewell the best, coaching him at Marquette. But for me, I watched Theo play and coach since he was, in high school, playing with Trey Jones and Gary Trent and these guys. And so we felt like we knew him really well. And then, of course, having a close relationship with Wojo, following his progress at Marquette, and just the physical presence. I mean, I think last year, we really felt like we got hurt by that. Getting beat up on the boards and not having that physical presence down low, the defense, the rebounding, and just the game experience. And so when we found out that there was a chance that we could get Theo, Coach literally almost got out of his seat. He jumped at it, and I think we all felt that way. It was unanimous. And the thing that's been so great about Theo is what a great teammate he's been. You see him, first of all, he doesn't really sit down much when he's, on the sidelines, but he's always in Mark's ear, pushing him, telling him to keep going, to get better. The guys look up to him, like a big brother. So he's been terrific for us, and the biggest thing we had to make sure is that he was healthy. And that's something we still keep an eye on, but his body's in a really good place, and he'll continue to make a big impact for us.
Cool. Thanks, Coach. And congrats on your dunk.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Dave.
All right, next we'll go to Connor O'Neill.
Yeah, John, I wanted to ask how much discussion, if there is any, that goes on in the offices about the perception that the ACC is down this year with your team being the only ranked team in the league, and everybody has kind of stumbled in a non-conference game here or there.
We actually haven't discussed it too much. I mean, look, I think the ACC, regardless of the start that we've gone off to, or, certain games that are lost or won, I just think this year is still unique circumstances. Games are being played last second, and, a lot can change between now, in January or February. So haven't discussed it much. We've really focused on Virginia Tech, and I can tell you they're not down. I can tell you they're a really good team. So we've just focused on that.
Thanks. And again, we'll continue the parade of congratulations on the dunk.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I like where this is going. This has been the best call I've had in a long time, fellas.
Mark Berman.
Good afternoon. As far as your own team's concerned, what aspect do you feel like you guys have grown the most from last year to this year?
Sorry, what did you say, Mark? Our team?
As far as your own team's concerned, in what aspect have you guys improved the most from last season to this season?
Well, what jumps out to me is just the way we've taken care of the ball. You know, we've been, really solid and sound with the ball, which has created more open opportunities, and the scoring has come easier for us. But I think that's where it starts. You know, we have 4 guys on the floor, no matter who it is really, that have made good decisions. That's translated into shots. It's also translated getting fouled more. And then just the physicality of our team. You know, we've been a team defensively and offensively that we can be a load, just because our perimeter is strong and big, and obviously inside when you start the game with Paulo and Mark, and you come off the bench with Theo or an AJ Griffin, that's pretty damn good for college. So those 2 things that really stood out to me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tom Shanahan.
Hey, Coach, from day one, Coach K and the coaches were expecting big things from Wendell Moore. You weren't shy about saying it, and he's translated it from whatever you saw in the preseason to 10, 11 games into the season. What made you guys so confident he was going to have kind of a breakout season?
Well, he just had a way about him in the workouts. Wendell's, we've seen flashes of it for 2 years, but the consistency in how he approached every day, he working his tail off. And I think he took a huge jump as far as his confidence, so you see these flashes his first 2 years. But then once we got into summer workouts in the preseason, the confidence which he was playing at, where a good example is he would miss 2 in a row and he's shooting the 3rd one, and that's something his first 2 years, he's probably passing up that 3rd shot. And so that's when we felt like, all right, Wendell, he's ready for this. And frankly, he's been right there. I'll put him up against anybody in the country. He's one of those guys you love to go to battle with. You love that he's on your side. Proud of what he's done. And I know he's got, a lot more in him still.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Jim Sumner.
Hey, John, you realize the headline tomorrow is going to be Jon Scheyer contemplates dunking baby. But you want to go back to Virginia Tech a little bit. They're coming off of a very impressive win over a good St. Bonaventure team, a team that was nationally ranked going into the season. And they made a lot of threes, but Mike Young teams make a lot of threes, but they also shut down St. Bonaventure's offense. What are you seeing from Virginia Tech on defense that they're doing so well, and how does Duke counter that?
Well, I think it starts with how hard they play. They play their butts off. They really guard the ball, and they don't necessarily pressure you, all the way out to half court. But when you're in the scoring area, they put pressure on the ball. When you drive, there's defenders to help, and they rat at the ball. They're actually one of the leaders in the country in terms of turnovers. And it's not necessarily with steals, but it's turnovers that they force you into with how they close on the ball so quickly on drives and in congested areas. So it starts there, and then, their experience. So they know the rotations, they know game plans. They can do a lot of different things, different coverages. So, it's a great challenge for us. And it's not like it's anything different from what we've done. What we want to do as a team, we want to play together, play strong, but especially first ACC game, playing through contact will be a big thing for our guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Got time for a few more. We'll go back to Steve Wiseman.
Hey, John, a couple things real quick here. Theo, we were talking about Theo John earlier. He missed that game, with the back tightness last week. He's played 2 since then. Is that getting along okay? Is that something you still have to monitor with him, or is he limited in any way?
No, he's in a good spot and ready to go in full. He's been in full participant in practice, and he'll be ready tomorrow night.
Good. And one more thing, you said, the guys want to do whatever they can to play, and Coach K mentioned getting everybody boosted, and he wished it had already happened. Is there any progress on that and getting the guys boosted to try to protect us through all this stuff?
We're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it.
Good enough. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Brian Horace.
Yeah, John, can you speak on the emergence of AJ Griffin and what that means for the team's ceiling this year?
Yeah, it's huge. AJ, I can't say enough about his attitude first and foremost. He went over a year without playing. So I think naturally there's some rust that he had to shake off in practices, but he stayed with it. And when AJ's on the floor, we look different as a team. He just brings a physical presence, his shooting and scoring ability. And I think you guys have had a chance to see this past week how good of a passer he is. I mean, he makes some, really good passes, hitting open men for threes. So we need to keep him in there, keep him going, because I think the strides that he's going to take from this point in the season to the end of the year will be tremendous.
Thank you.
Last question will go to Brendan Marks.
Hey, John. Yeah, I wanted to ask a follow-up about AJ. Both he and coach had said that those 2 weeks you guys had off for finals were key for him in terms of the one-on work he got. Was that in the film room? Is that with you off to the side? Can you just elaborate a little bit on what was so helpful for him during those 2 weeks?
It was really just everything. And, we had our practices, but then there was a lot of skill work and there was a lot of time. It's a good chance, Brendan, just to hit the reset button a little bit and to evaluate where we were at as a team, but also individually that time. And AJ's approach, he just said, I'm taking this to another level. I know I can do it. I know what I need to improve on, playing faster, being ready to shoot and attacking the boards, playing defense, all those things. And he attacked it every single day. And I can't say enough about him. We love coaching him. And I think the thing that he brings, it just takes the versatility of our team up to another level. He can really guard 1 through 5, because he's on the floor and his ability to shoot and score, he can be a tough mismatch. And so, for us, I think AJ's best basketball is definitely ahead of him. But I think we will look back in those 2 weeks being a pivotal time for him, just where he took a huge jump.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, that concludes today's availability. Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you guys for joining the call.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Thanks,
Thanks, John. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, John. Congratulations.